Good morning. Welcome to another beautiful morning in Wichita, Kansas. Ooh, my skin looks shiny today. We're just out for our morning stroll. It is National Fajita Day. Yum. I've got a new trial for you today, opening arguments, and more in the Murdaugh Family saga. So, see you on the other side. Hey everybody, Crafting Journey here, that Journey chick over on Instagram, and the leftovers on my new channel. Make sure to check out the new channel. The link is down in the description. And if you would, just subscribe, just, as a favor to me. I'm trying to launch the channel and give it a like button. Apparently, the algorithm on YouTube likes the like button. That's what gets you seen. So, speaking of the like button, yeah, I made him carry in a huge case of water from Walmart. Wasn't happy about that, but it is what it is. So hit the like button. Consider subscribing if you enjoy the content, or becoming a member if you're already a subscriber. It's free to subscribe. Yes, absolutely free. I don't charge you a thing. And the notification bell, that's the most important. Hit all. You want to make sure you hit all so you get notified when I have another video posted, because Crafting and Crime Daily posts on a different time every day. So welcome to Crafting and Crime Daily, the show I do every single day. Not so much on Saturdays and Sundays, but Monday through Friday, sometimes a Saturday edition. My nose itches. Somebody's talking about me. Oh, no, that means I'm going to get some money, right? Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I was doing my spiel. And I don't know where I left off. Anyway, good morning. Yeah, this is the show where I describe live trials. Started a new one yesterday, opening arguments in the case of Matthew Moore, and who's being prosecuted by the state of Ohio. We're going to talk about that, and I can't leave you hanging on the Murdaugh Family saga, so we're going to try to put a little bow on that as best we can, and then we'll talk about my life, as exciting as that may be. The coffee's still brewing, yeah. So, I'm drinking water to stay hydrated before I drink the dehydrating coffee. But it is caffeine free. So, what are we celebrating today? National Fajita Day. When I think of a fajita, I think of Applebee's. Is it Applebee's? Oh my God, they make the best fajitas. I don't know about anything else, because that's what I get when I go to Applebee's. But the fajitas was like a cowboy thing. They would light the fire, campfire. They would cook the meat, slap it on some of that the corn tortilla thing, and of course today we use spices and all that good stuff, guacamole and sour cream. Do you put sour cream on a fajita? And peppers and onions, and I love when it comes out to your table and it's sizzling in the pan. And I haven't had a really good fajita in a while. Yeah. So last night I was working on the diamond painting. I gotta tell you, I'm all over the place today. I went to physical therapy yesterday, and they about killed me with the squats. Enough with the squats. He made me do squats you're on a machine. Let me tell. I don't want to make it sound more difficult than it is, but you're on this machine that you're sliding up and down doing squats for 10 minutes. And at the end of the 10 minutes, I'm thinking, I'm done. And he's like, no, one leg now. I'm like, what? One leg? Yeah, so we did one leg for 10 minutes. So last night, my knees and my thighs were screaming at me, you're not an athlete. You're a big-shouldered woman trying to survive in this world. All right, but they don't know that at physical therapy. They think I'm like, Popeye or something. I finally got to sleep. after my sister forced more Tylenol down my throat. No, I'm like, I just took that a few hours ago. Take some more Tylenol. And I have this bottle of tramadol that the doctor gave me and prescribed. And when you're coming off the Percocet, the tramadol does nothing. So I took 2 of those. And by about 2 o'clock in the morning, I was comfortable enough to go to bed. I got up, I walked around, did some things in the house, and my sister was up organizing stuff at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, we are on such weird schedules in this house. We really are. But, it is okay. It is what it is. So what I did was I opened up some sections here last night in the painting, and I was working this fence section, and I did look at the painting, the full painting itself, because I'm thinking, wow, this is going very nicely. Lots of color blocking. There's some confetti in my future. When I looked at the painting, I'm like, yeah, it's not going to go as smoothly as this. We got confetti ahead. Confetti ahead. What symbol are we doing? The equal sign. Okay, I have some more of those. All right. So today is the 18th, the day that I should be signing the severance document. But on the advice of my attorney, I am not. Do we have an extension? No, we don't. Is there finally an attorney on the case? On the other side? Finally, yes. Someone finally put in an appearance yesterday. So negotiations will begin, and I just have to sit back and relax. Although, I got to tell you, I had to take an anxiety medicine yesterday. I thought I was going to pass out because I don't know, I've never been that anxious where I thought I was going to pass out. But this whole thing has me tied up and, But what am I losing by not signing this? A month's pay. I'm gonna, if I lose it, it's a gamble that I took. Do I have a valid claim? Yes, I do. Do I want to pursue it? We'll see. So, oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't want to start thinking about that. And doing the work there, it just seems so pointless. They haven't told me to train anybody else. I don't know who's going to do it when I'm gone. I would love to explain where, how I do it, where I save things, how I keep track of. Nope, they haven't asked, and I'm not telling them. Nope. So let's lay down some drills. Oh, I don't need the 10 placer with this one. No, I don't. I'm going to go with the 4 placer. So last night on Craft With Me Wednesday, if you watch it on the replay, and I do hope you enjoy it, I painted, here's what I painted. This gorgeous butterfly. And I did finish it on camera, but at the very end, like the last 5 minutes of the video, apparently I got water on the microphone and it caused it to have this horrible static. So I had to end the live, but it was getting ready to end anyway. I only do 1 hour on Wednesdays. So here is the butterfly. You see this iridescent watercolor that I use? I mean, it's just beautiful. So I want to recreate this on the black watercolor paper that I have, but this is gorgeous. I actually sketched this butterfly myself. Yesterday, I had that butterfly shirt on. You're going to laugh. My sister left for a little while. I took off my butterfly shirt, set it down in front of me, and sketched the butterfly onto here. Now, it's not perfect, but I think it's pretty cool. And then after I painted it in the purple iridescent, I went back and outlined it in this beautiful gold paint that I have. And then I just surrounded it with beautiful flowers. I don't know if you can catch the gold. I'll try to take a picture and see if we can capture that gold for you. I'll put it right there so I don't forget. Let's talk about corrupting and crime daily. Before we get into the rest of the Murdaugh saga, I just wanted to expound on yesterday because maybe it wasn't clear what was going on. It's not clear what's going on with Alec Murdaugh and this shooting. They suspect that he was trying to get this gentleman to shoot him and kill him so that Buster could claim a $10 million life insurance policy that his father took out. But it was all staged. So Eddie and Alec were charged with staging this whole scenario. Now, I wanted to talk about all of the civil trials that are pending against Alec Murdaugh. He's got one from the Mallory Beach family that stems from the boating accident. And if you haven't caught up on the Murdaugh Family saga, I have it playlisted right here. All you have to do is click on this playlist and hit watch later, and you will not be taken away from this video. Mallory Beach's family is suing him and a bunch of other entities that have already settled, but he and his son Buster were sued for facilitating the drinking that Paul Murdock was doing that night on the boat. As you might recall, Mallory was in the boat with a bunch of other youth. Paul hit a piling at a bridge. Mallory was ejected from the boat. They could not find her body. A week later, she was found and she was deceased. Mallory Beach's family also sued Phillips 66 gas station, where Paul stopped to buy beer. They have settled. They sued the Woods family for the oyster roast, for also facilitating the drinking of these young people and not stopping them from getting back into the boat, I guess. They have settled. This is the oyster roast that they had started at the Murdaugh family home. They took the boat down to the oyster roast, did all kinds of drinking, and then on the way back they stopped at a bar called Luther's. Luther's was also sued and has settled. So the only people left in that lawsuit are Buster and Alec Murdaugh. And recently, Alec's attorney actually filed a motion to dismiss this case, citing that the Beach family has already settled with all these people. They have enough money. So that is the weakest motion I have ever heard. So I don't know how this was ruled on, but I can't imagine that it was granted. To say that your client should get a free pass because everybody else settled and they got enough money, that's just crazy. Lawsuit number 2 is from Connor Cook, also stems from that boating accident. Connor is suing Alec Murdaugh for trying to frame him as the driver when we actually know that Paul was the driver of the boat. And then the next lawsuit is from Gloria Satterfield's family. They are suing to recover the money that Alec Murdaugh conspired to keep them from, the settlements. And then there's 2 more lawsuits that total $550,000, one from Alec's brother and one from his partner, stemming from money that they loaned him. This guy had money coming in left and right. Where did this money go? All of these clients that he conspired to keep the money away from, borrowing money, where was it all going? There's some theories about that. There's a gentleman named Barrett T. Boulwear that lived in South Carolina. Now, the Boulwear family goes way back, just like the Murdaugh family, and they have always had close ties to the Murdaugh family. Buster T. Boulwear was a commercial fisherman. A boat, yes. I think you know where this is going. He actually passed away in 2018, and just before he died, he signs a power of attorney to Alec Murdaugh, giving him the right to everything he owns. He was also the former owner of the Moselle property. Now, the Moselle property is the property where Paul and Maggie were shot to death. It's also the property where Gloria Satterfield tripped on the steps and passed away. Like I said, this relationship with the Boulwear family goes back to Alex's grandfather, the original Buster Murdaugh, who was very good friends with the Boulwear family. They were rumored to be heavily involved in a criminal moonshine network back in the 1950s that was totally supported by the community. Everybody was in on it. The cops, the judges, everybody. If anybody was caught, they got light sentences. There's a suspicion that Barrett T. Boulwear was involved in drug smuggling. Now, what would make South Carolina the perfect area for drug smuggling? South Carolina has hundreds of barrier islands, and each of those islands, well, not all of them, there's 3 major islands. One that has access to a lot of roads, another that is a national park, and another one that is uninhabited. So, and there's all these other barrier islands. So all of these islands have very quick access to roads, and very little of it is developed. Unlike Florida, where you go down the coast and everything is developed. The coast on South Carolina is underdeveloped. It's just not developed. So there's lots of room for these drug smugglers to hide and not get caught, and to offload their merchandise quickly. They can get those boats in there, get it offloaded, get it onto the road, and they're on the interstate and they're gone. Alec Murdock became business partners with Barrett T. Boulwear in the 1990s, and they started buying these coastal properties. Now, usually when you go into business with someone, it's to make a profit, but they laid on these properties. They never did anything with them. All through ups and downs in the market, they did not sell or attempt to sell these properties. What were they doing with the properties? They had 9 properties that had strategic access points that were what you would call lookout properties. They could not be seen from the road. They were easily accessible from the open water, and boats could pull, and they were all deep water access, each one of these 9 properties. So boats that could only go in deep water could actually dock at these properties, offload their whatever's on the boat. We don't know for sure. Now, at one point, they said they were producing jellyfish. Now, jellyfish is a delicacy in China, but it is very, very difficult to prepare for sale. You have to. The production of this jellyfish is quite a task. You have to cut it up. You have to dry it out. It takes weeks to prepare this jellyfish for it to be edible. And apparently, they really were doing jellyfish at one point, and the health department shut them down. But was the jellyfish just an excuse to launder money? Who knows? So back to the properties. There was really no rational explanation for Boulwear and Murdock to own these properties, unless there was drug smuggling going on. That's the only explanation. Can we actually say that that's what was happening, like with 100% certainty? No, we can't. But what other explanation is there for these properties? And I might add, Moselle had a landing strip. This is a property that was owned by Boulwear that Alec Murdock purchased for $5 from Boulwear's wife. But on the deed it says $5 plus $750,000 in like kind. In other words, future properties worth $750,000. But he got it for $5, essentially. Boulwear had already signed over everything he owned to Alec Murdock anyway. But this Moselle property formerly belonged to Boulwear, and Boulwear had a pilot's license, and this place had a landing strip. And it's thought to have had a garage. The kennels where Paul and Maggie were murdered had this one area with these large doors where you could have hidden a plane. It was that big. Now, like I said, this is all speculation. We don't know for sure, but we're trying to find the money. Where was the money going? This would also be a really good explanation for why Paul and Maggie were murdered. If if Alec Murdaugh was involved with a drug smuggling ring, was there something that they were trying to get back at him for? Did he owe them money? What was going on? Well, now that is a receiver involved, and I might add, not just one receiver, but two receivers to find the money, maybe they will find more of this Alec Murdaugh. Now, I wish I could tell you this is the end of the saga. It continues to this day. Alec Murdaugh is sitting in jail on a $7 million bond originally. Now he's there on no bond. He is not going to get out. He is charged with 72 different counts of various things, including conspiracy, the murders of Paul and Maggie, everything you can think of. So as this investigation progresses, I will try to keep you updated every now and then on what is going on in all of these cases. Now, we're going to talk about the new trial, opening statements yesterday. Now, I talked about Ohio. I said, have we been to Ohio? And then I remembered, yes, we have. Do you remember the case of the doctor that was accused of overdosing all of his patients at the end of their life and causing their death? And he was found not guilty. He was represented by Jose Baez. Well, that was in Ohio. So this trial is in Ohio, and the defense attorney happens to be Diane Menashe. Now, Diane Menashe was Jose Baez's co-counsel. Now, Jose Baez is a Florida lawyer, and in order for him to participate in a case in Ohio, he would have had to have done so with the assistance of an Ohio attorney, and that was Diane Menashe. So here's Diane Menashe representing Matthew Moore for the staged suicide of his wife. And I got to tell you, Diane Menashe was a firecracker during her opening statement. Oh my word. To the point where I hope the jury doesn't start to not like her. She's very aggressive. Now, the prosecution started their opening by saying the end is not what it seems. And what they mean by that is Emily Noble, who's the victim in this case, she went missing. She was found, and I'm going to tell you the end because we're talking about the end is not what it seems. She was found hanging from a tree by a USB cord. Now, he's trying to tell us this is not what it seems. And I kept waiting for him to tell me what evidence he was going to show during this trial that Matthew Moore did this. Now, we know that Matthew Moore and his wife went out. Emily Noble was his wife. They went out to celebrate her birthday on the 24th. On the 25th, he calls 911 and says she's missing. He voluntarily goes down to the police station to give a statement. He voluntarily takes off his shirt, shows his whole body. There's no wounds or anything on his body. This is in May 25th of 2020. They don't find her hanging from this tree until September of 2020. And according to Diane Menashe, she was found hanging in a location that had been searched by not only several search parties, but cadaver dogs. But it kept, like I said, I kept waiting during this opening statement, for the prosecutor to tell me what evidence was going to show that this was staged, and I never heard it. He said he's going to have experts come on and testify about her injuries. She had hyoid bone fractures, which is, bilateral here. Fractures of the nasal, which I don't know how you get that from a hanging. So that might be what they're hanging their hat on, that she had these nasal injuries, but they were bilateral. And then she had bilateral thyroid, which is in the same area, all which could be caused from a hanging. So it's going to be like the battle of the experts. So where was she all this time? I never heard any of that. Now, the reason this case did not start till yesterday, I told you that they were trying to pick a jury. Well, I come to find out they actually did a jury view the day before this the opening arguments. They took the jury out to the location where she was found hanging from the tree, and they just kind of drove them around to orient them to, where Emily lived with Matthew. Now, it also comes out during opening statements that Emily has gone through so much mental trauma. My God, her first husband, Michael, killed himself, shot himself in the head. Michael's brother killed himself. Then she had a high school friend that killed herself. Then in 2015, her father passes away after a fall. He suffers a fall and he doesn't recover, and he passes away. A year later, 2016, her mother dies in a horrendous car accident. Then in 2018, she meets Matthew Moore. They fall in love, they get married, everything's fine. Matthew brings his son Joey into the marriage. Now, by this time, Joey's a teenager. Well, what do you think happens to Joey in 2019? Joey hangs himself. He's found in the woods, hanging by a cord. This is a lot of trauma for one person to go to. A lot of trauma. The last time Emily was heard from was when she texted her sister the morning of the 25th. After that, not heard from again. Now, someone said that they saw her walking that day. Now, this is a woman who grew up going for walks, foraging through the woods. She loved to forage in the woods. Just go out to the woods and hike and find things. And they surmised that the walk that she took that day, that's what she did. She went into the woods. So they started all these search parties looking for her and could not find her. Now, Matthew would not participate in the search parties. He said, no, let the police take care of that. Now, she did not take her wallet with her. She did not take her cell phone with her. She didn't take her car. She didn't take her car keys. She didn't take her identification. No, she took nothing with her. She had just gone for a walk. She had on her sneakers, according to the person that saw her, and she was dressed like she was going for a walk. This was the afternoon of the 25th. Now, the night before, they had spent the whole day celebrating her birthday. They had gone to a water park. Then they had gone out for dinner. They were home by 7 p.m. They went to bed together. They fell asleep. Matthew says he woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning and then went back to sleep in a different bedroom. When he woke up the next day, she was gone. So after the opening arguments, the sister of Emily testifies. A very, very sweet lady. They did not show her on camera. She probably asked not to be shown. But she explained the last time she had heard from her sister. She explained what her sister was like, how all of this trauma had affected her, that she was seeing a therapist, that she had checked with her several times to say, are you going to hurt yourself? Are you thinking about hurting yourself or others? And her sister would always say, no, I would never do that to you. I wouldn't kill myself. I wouldn't do that to you. They were very, very close, these sisters. But Diane Menashe, on cross-examination, pointed out that so close that you never came to Ohio to help search for her. You did all these searches. You organized all these search parties from your home in another location. You never came to Ohio to help search for your sister. No, she didn't. I do know the prosecution's theory is that this was actually a manual strangulation, that he actually strangled her and then staged the hanging to look like a suicide. I'm waiting to hear the evidence. So we will have more on that tomorrow in Crafting and Crime Daily. Yes. I'm not going to do this day in history because we're already at, way past 30 minutes and I got to get to work. Gotta go to work. It feels like a Friday, but it's not a Friday. And I just can't wait for this job to be over with. I am reading this book I'm doing so much studying on what to buy, what not to buy, at these yard sales and thrift shops. And, I'm learning all of this information. It's fantastic. I'm just so excited about all this. So guys, have a fantastic Thursday. I will see you tomorrow in Crafting and Crime Daily with more on the Matthew Moore trial in the state of Ohio with defense attorney Diane Manassi. Yeah. Bye.